Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Liliana Frattini Passi. I'm the Managing Director of CBI. And of course, it's a deep honor for me to share with you the experience I gained by the company over the last 20 years. And of course, I'm very happy to share with you the experience of CBI carried out over the last 20 years. Being CBI a public limited consortium company comprising roughly 400 of payment service providers in the role of shareholders and customers, we are very proud to show you the experience in developing services infrastructure, digital infrastructures, and to serve the payment service providers, the public administrations, and in particular serving all the corporates and retail users. Some figures show the relevance of the activities developed over the years. In particular, respecting CBI, we have the interbank corporate banking, which is used by 3 million of corporates in Italy to facilitate the interconnection and the activity of cash management to initiate payments and collective instruction for corporates and banks. We also have developed a centralized public administration linked to all the Italian banks, the so-called 7 central public administrations platform. And we are, for the CBIL, we are already registered 8 million citizens using CBIL, which is an electronic presentment payment services which connect all the citizens to the PagoPA, which is the company owned by the Ministry of Finance, to ease the payments for the retail and corporate to address to public administration. To date, with respect to the centralized platforms, CBI Globe, we registered 300 banks, so roughly the 80% of the Italian market, which have already adopted the API-powered platform CBI Globe to achieve all the compliance with the PSD2 and facilitate the spread out of the open finance in Italy. We are very proud of the figures that show the fact that this platform is completely supporting the compliance of the PSP to the regulation, in particular the PSD2. But so far we already have registered 170 API calls. We have already registered 170 TPPs on the platform, and so far more than 130 million API calls have been registered to the platform. So very proud of these figures, but last but not least, over 6 million of IBAN checks have been registered to date by the CBI platform. Some more information about the scenario that we can see from our landscape. It is interesting to note that last years have been, of course, characterized by a few precise trends. First of all, technological changes on a large scale. A change of a national perspective in terms of competitions. We see that this competition turned to be international rather than national, especially pushed by the Payment Service Directive 2. And another important aspect it is related to globalization, which has relativized major banks' dominant positions. In particular, these players still have a predominant role at the domestic level, but they face increased competition on a global scale, and thanks to the entrance into the market of new players, including Fintech and Big Tech. And this is an aspect very important to bear in mind. In this competitive scenario, thanks to the collaborative experience offered by CBI, traditional banks, and all the stakeholders working with the CBI environment, so we are fostering the opportunity to ease the communication and to help financial institutions in overcome these new challenging trends and try to support this this competition from all the aspects that banks need to face and overcome. Another aspect I would like to share with you this afternoon is also the relevant stakeholders with which we are working with, and I'm referring, for instance, with the institutions at national level. So I'm referring to all the interbank and all the interbank payment committee oversight by the Bank of Italy, as well as other international working groups, which are, of course, are helping CBI in envisaging the main trends and envisaging where to invest. In particular, we are working with the EPC and the European Banking Authority, especially the API working group, aiming to increase the degree of interoperability of the European payment market. And additionally, CBI liaises with the EU institution to monitor the evolution of the payment regulatory framework. In particular, I'm personally a member of the UNCFACT in the role of Vice Chair of the International Supply Chain Program Development Area in the finance and in payment sector. And I'm also attending the ISO 20022 for the registration management group. So CBI is able to guarantee an international panorama of this activity. In this context, it's my pleasure to share with you the relevance experience gained by CBI over the last 3 years. In particular, 2 years ago, against the background provoked by the PSD2, CBI has developed the CBI Globe service, which is a special API-powered RegTech platform that facilitates the connection between payment service providers and all the third parties providers which are willing to interconnect with all the Italian banks. As I mentioned before, CBI Globe was designed to lead the banking system to the PSD2 compliant and make it an active protagonist of the digital payment revolution through the development of value-added services. 2 years ago, CBI Globe has been launched with the support of the technological partners Nexi, and has demonstrated that collaborative ecosystems are the best way to minimize the cost of compliance and promote collaborative innovation among various stakeholders. And so far you can see from this slide some figures which witness the success stories of CBI Globe. 300 payment service providers have chosen CBI Globe, representing the 80% of the Italian banking market, and have interacted with over 170 intermediaries in the role of PSP, AISP, and PIS. And so far, approximately 130 million of API calls have been invoked with an exponential increase week after week. And as you can imagine, we are very proud of these figures. With relevance, with relevance of these this platform, CBI Globe. Sorry for it. I have to. A few seconds. I'm very sorry for the voice. So CBI recently launched the new functionality of CBI Globe, which is the so-called active functionality, which enables all payment service providers to play the active role as a third party. So using a single access point to reach the entire Italian banking market and main international API platforms. From a B2B to C perspective, CBI Globe Active functionality allows all PSPs to strengthen their commercial profile vis-a-vis their corporates and final customers. On this point, it is worth mentioning that CBI Globe Active functionality offers a library of optional value-added services that are realized in partnership with the main players of the sector. So TPPs can join on an optional basis those value-added services. Alternatively, PSPs can develop in-house value-added services to be integrated on the top of the CBI Globe Active functionality and offer them to its customers directly. The PSP can develop different value-added services through dedicated partnerships with fintech companies, including, for instance, PFM, credit scoring, account aggregation services, and so on. And in particular, talking about several IBAN check and several value-added services that we are carrying out and developing over the last times, I would like to highlight the value of the IBAN check. As you can imagine, we are working to promote innovation, supporting the establishment of a digital payment ecosystem in Italy. And it is a very relevant experience to share with you that of course, again, in July last 2020, where CBI developed and implemented the open banking value-added service IBAN check under the request of the Italian government. This service was provided to the public administration to correctly allocate the economic resources established by the government to support the most affected people by the COVID-19 crisis. So this value-added service, the IBAN check, consists of a verified data, the IBAN fiscal code, the VAT number, delivered by citizens and small and medium enterprise to get fiscal bonuses. And so far, we are helping PSP to implement this service to the benefit of the private sector. And in doing so, this functionality is aiming at facilitating corporates in fulfilling their fraud prevention activities vis-a-vis their customers through the support of financial intermediaries and domestic and international fintech companies to use the IBAN check service. As you can imagine, we are working not only on the services, but in developing more value-added services. In particular, we are working on some open banking value-added services to the benefit of the whole banking industry. And in doing that, we are working very hard to ease the know your customer procedures to help customers through their financial institutions. And in doing that, we are working on the smart onboarding. Smart onboarding, which is coming soon value-added services, and focusing the smart onboarding value-added services, it intends to facilitate users' onboarding procedures by transmitting user data from banks to those corporates that are interested in valorizing this information. We are seeing that a lot of customers, a lot of corporates are really interested in this value-added service in the smart onboarding, because this service allows all users to automatically transfer its data from banks' database to a corporate. And it could be used to ease the registration procedures, reducing fraud risk, having high quality of information. And from a data monetization perspective, banks offer these services to corporates with twofold objective of integrating their know your customer procedures and enriching their products and the quality of information processed. So we are very proud to be about to commercialize this service by first quarter 2000 next year, so 2022. Going to the next slides, we are of course working to create CBI Globe as an open finance ecosystem, following different pillars and different drivers to support and to make this ecosystem a concrete reality. For the banking sector and for the banking environment, we are working very hard on a standardization approach, and so going to a standardization approach of APIs for the international banking community, and so overcoming those already established by the PSD2 and identifying day by day new value-added services, not only in the banking sector, but in particular going beyond the banking. So offering the opportunity to third parties to use the CBI Globe application, centralized application, to host their APIs, and so having a centralized point of access for all the financial communities already registered and already interconnected to CBI Globe. For the international expansion, we are seeking interoperability with our open banking platforms, and in doing that, we are working for several partnerships with selected fintech and innovative companies. So you can see that in doing that, our work is leveraging the evolution of CBI Global with the ambition of contributing of an open finance ecosystem, guaranteeing the interoperability and from one hand, and the interconnection among all stakeholders from the other, to ensure the implementation of a level playing field based in particular on the principle same activities, same rules, and same risks. Well, we are going to the following and last slide, and giving some, of course, giving some food of thoughts that I would like to leave you today with this presentation. Of course, CBI, thanks to a sound experience in the design, development, and in the governance of collaborative infrastructure and innovative services, we have been becoming a key player in the definition of an open banking scheme for the world financial community. So taking into account the new trends deriving from the open finance, and after having overcome the compliance phase, now we are working very hard in developing other data-based value-added services. I've already mentioned before the IBAN check, the smart onboarding, and some other functionalities currently in progress. Our goal is to support this collaborative innovation ecosystem for financial institutions and any other intermediaries, so that they can offer on their turn value-added service to the corporates, public administration, and retail customers. In this context, we are very, very proud of the work we've been doing over the last 5 years in particular, but in the last 20 years since CBI has been designed from the origin. So thank you very much for your attention, and of course I remain at your disposal for some questions. Okay, thank you very much for the questions just arrived. And the question is if market participants are now pushing for a global digital transformation, and in particular, if this digital transformation is driven by the COVID-19. Well, as you can imagine and all know, that there is no doubt that COVID-19 has fostered digitalization worldwide. However, it would be imprecise to claim that market participants have adopted trends towards digitalization only because of the COVID-19. And talking about the payment sector, it is worth noting that PSD2 was adopted in 2015 and implemented in 2019 in Italy. So the change towards the increased digital financial sector has started occurring previously to the current global health crisis. Already before 2020, to quote the retail payment strategy of the EU, the act of paying had become less visible and increasingly dematerialized and disintermediated. However, it is not a secret to say that COVID-19 further incentivized the transition towards the use of digital technologies. For example, customers have started utilizing e-payments as a safe tool to make transactions by allowing customers not to be physically present in the store. Digital payments have enabled people to avoid occasions of infection while allowing them to keep purchasing as before. So, nevertheless, the European market still results fragmented. So in this context, I do believe it is important to back the effort proposed by the European Commission to promote instant payment solution and innovate the retail payment markets by renewing the PSD2. And I do believe that CBI is working hard in supporting the financial community in reaching this new challenging emerging from this very fragmented but complex financial framework. Another little question arrived just to clarify some point of view in the crisis and through the cases during the pandemic. The question is, with the exponential increase in fraud cases during the pandemic, should clients be concerned about the potential data privacy issues? Well, I can believe and I can witness that data privacy is a very delicate issue that deserves to be carefully managed to safeguard the integrity data of clients and avoid any breach. I do believe that advanced digital technology offer great opportunities on an international scale, facilitating markets integration. And the work CBI has been doing over the last years is addressing this specific situation, and it is addressing the necessity for the financial institutions and their customers in terms of retail and public administration to foster to prevent and to save, to challenge, to face all these aspects which affect of the fraud detection. This is why the company has realized services that are based on the highest level of security to protect data clients and reduce the risk of fraud. So on this point, I'm glad to claim that CBI's customers and shareholders have shown full satisfaction with the way security aspects have been designed and implemented in the services offered by the company. So thank you for your attention. I know that we are at the finish of our webinar, so thank you very much for listening and for the opportunity to share with you the CBI experience. And for other questions, please do not hesitate to contact me and all CBI staff through email, and we will promptly answer to all your questions. Thank you very much.